Chitab kolenjin itagat mising ketestai ak tetutiet nebo IKWENY EMET netun kong'eten ketesiet nebo Kass TV. En studio kemiten ketestai ng'alalet ak tondenyon en betutab rani noton ko Mheshimiwa David anan Dr. David Ole Sankok, inendet ko agenge en MPs chebo bunge nebo East African Legislative Assembly anan EALA. Kageng'alal ak inendet kotinygei ak tetutik chebo East Africa Community chebo EALA. Ak en inguni komakiben komung'et ko kimoche ketaun keng'alalen akobo polotet nebo emetab Kenya mising netinyegei ak Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga. Inendet ko nemoche inguni kobo konam boroindo en AU anan African Union. Ako komokitau ng'alalet amache kenyorun video nenwach neng'eten channel noton nebo YouTube nebo Mheshimiwa Sankok asikeboe keng'alalen akobo notok.
This is my favorite cow called Nyambura. She was born between 2016 and 2017 within my herd of cattle. And as you can see, there is a rubber stamp from God, the map of Africa, because here is Madagascar, Comoros Island, South Africa, East Africa, Horn of Africa, North Africa, West Africa, and Central Africa. And to me, this is a God prophecy that one day there will be the United States of Africa. And if this happens during Raila Odinga's time, then so be it. And from today, I baptize Raila Odinga not as the incoming chairman of the African Union Commission, but as the president of the United States of Africa. Because to me, I know there is only one soul alive who can carry the aspiration of our Pan-African forefathers of uniting Africa into the United States of Africa, USA. That is none other than His Excellency, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, aka Agwambo Tinga Mwenyewe. The little boy is very healthy. Yes. And milk from this cow also tastes African.
Mheshimiwa,
yes.
That video is short,
yes,
but it's loaded. You have, of course, mentioned that it has the stamp of the African continent.
Yes, and it's a God's rubber stamp.
Yes,
it's not
and
my stamp.
You have mentioned that Raila Odinga,
yes,
is not only going to be the incoming chair of the AU Commission, but who knows?
He may become
be the
president of the United States of Africa.
What made you make such a heavy pronouncement?
Yes, you know, God has been speaking to us. And I have told you an instant in which God spoke to the world,
yes,
through his only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, through kwa ng'ombe.
Akizaliwa pale.
Alizaliwa kwa zizi la ng'ombe.
Yes.
There must be some significance in it. Why was Jesus not born in the house? Why was Jesus not born in the bush?
Hotel, in the hospital?
In the hotel, in the hospital. Why was it specifically in the zizi la ng'ombe?
Yes.
There is also the announcement that William Ruto will support Raila Odinga.
Yes.
It was with him, Raila Odinga, Ruto, and Museveni. Na walikutana wapi?
Malishoni pale.
Malishoni kwa ng'ombe ya Museveni.
Yes.
Na Museveni yako na state house mingi. William Ruto yako na state house mingi. Wote wako na mahoteli. Ruto wako na Weston na mahoteli zingine. William mwingine wako na mahoteli. Mbona wako enda kwa hoteli? God is speaking to us. And is speaking to us through Sankok cow. Na juzi nimekuwa na wabunge wa East Africa Legislative Assembly. Wote tulikuwa Narok tukisherekea. Watu waliona ni kama tuna celebrate, tunakula nyama choma, lakini tulikuwa pale kiini kuona ile lugha ambao Mungu anazungumzia sisi. Na wenzetu waliongea. Honorable George Odongo from Uganda talked about it. Honorable Guy Deng from South Sudan
yes,
talked about it. Honorable Milia Kenyasi from United Republic of Tanzania talked about it. Honorable Victor from Burundi talked about it. Honorable Ali Machano Ali from Zanzibar spoke about it. That hii ni ramani ya Africa ambao Mungu anaongea na sisi kwa sababu surely drawing the whole map of Africa together with our highlands, the Comoros Island and Madagascar being part of, na akawachana na European, akawachana na Middle East, akawachana na pale pengine zote, akatuchorea map of Africa. It means that we must be united. Na mimi ndio sababu na pigia upato Raila Odinga ili akuwe rais, chairman wa African Union Commission.
Yes.
Na hiyo, you know, Raila Odinga and his MPs, Azimio MPs, in 2022 December 17th, I was shocked. They voted for me to become the member of parliament of EALA. Later on, they told me, actually, it was mapenzi, it was love, but they really wanted to deport me to Arusha, so that I can forget about local politics na siasa ya kijiji.
Ulikuwa umekuwa moto sana.
Na mimi pia nikaamua, I will also deport Raila Odinga to Addis Ababa. Ili venye mimi nimewacha siasa ya kijiji, naye pia awache siasa ya kijiji. Because tit for tat is a fair game. You did it through love.
Yes.
I'm also doing it through love.
Yes.
You deported me to Arusha through love.
Yes.
I also deport you to Addis Ababa through love.
Yes.
Because somebody who fought for you does not hate you. He loves you. So I'm just reciprocating. But apart from that, I have a vision that Africa will unite, just like the dream of our Pan-African forefathers, Kwame Nkrumah, Muammar Gaddafi, Julius Nyerere, name all of them, Patricia Lumumba, all of them, Sankara, that wanted to unite
Africa yes.
into the United States of Africa. I have that dream, and that dream will be actualized during our lifetime. And that is why, for me, I find Odinga as the best placed to become the AUC chairman. And you know why? You know, some people say, we did not vote for Raila as president of Kenya. How can he become the president of the United States of Africa, which is a larger constituency?
Yes.
I may not qualify to be an MCA, but I'm qualified to be a member of parliament.
Yes.
You can't ask me why, after devolution, Ruto was not voted as a governor before he became the president.
Yes.
You know, a governor is also a kind of president of a county, and he's a smaller. But he was so qualified that he is qualified to become the president of Kenya, but not qualified to become the governor of Uasin-Gishu. So the same with Raila Odinga. And one of the qualifications of Raila Odinga is his own age. The age gives him an edge over most of us. Honorable Dr. Shiranda, my colleague in East African Legislative Assembly from the Uganda chapter, wanted to contest. We sat with him at my hotel, Osim Country Road, and we convinced him to step down in favor of Raila Odinga. Why? Because Raila Odinga will be a gap between the past, the present, and the future.
Yes.
Why? Because Raila Odinga, through his age, have dined and discussed and talked and met with our Pan-African forefathers.
Yes.
Because he's also an octogenarian.
Yes.
You see, he have met Kwame Nkrumah. He have had an opportunity to meet Muammar Gaddafi.
Yes.
He had an opportunity to dine with Julius Nyerere.
Yes.
He had an opportunity to meet Kina Patricia Lumumba. Because of his age, he was born at that time. He knew what their dream were.
Their aspirations.
He knew what were their aspirations.
Yes.
Raila Odinga was campaigning last election in 2022. So the younger generation have interacted with Raila Odinga because he was asking for votes from everybody, including younger generation. Yes. So he understands how to hype the emotions of the younger generation, the younger Kenyans, to go into demonstration. So he understands them. He understands the old, he understands the young, he understands some of us who are in the middle age. So this guy is the bridge between the past, the present, and the future.
Yes.
So Raila Odinga really is qualified. I told Dr. Shiranda, he's not even 35 years because he's still a youth.
Yes.
My friend, you have read books about Kwame Nkrumah, about Muammar Gaddafi, about Julius Nyerere.
Yes.
You have only read. There is a person here who have interacted with them. So how do you understand what their aspiration were? Some of the book have been edited until the meaning is lost. And you have just read in history, in primary school or geography, of those Pan-African. Here is somebody who have
from
talked
that
to them,
generation,
who have heard from their own mouth of what was their aspiration. And ours was to carry those aspirations. The only person, the only soul alive who can carry the aspiration of our Pan-African forefathers of uniting Africa into the United States of Africa is none other than His Excellency, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, aka Agwambo. Mimi sioni mwingine na sina tashwishi naye, and that is why I use all my energy to campaign for him. And in God's holy name, he will actually be the chairman of African Union Commission come next year. And again, that one will also solve our 2027 political equation. But it is the truth.
It is a tactical support.
But it's the truth.
Yes.
I've given you his qualification. So I'm supporting him because of his qualification.
So you are not advancing.
But also again, if my 2027 political equation is solved positively and timely, so why don't I just...
the trouble.
It saved me the trouble.
Yes.
You can imagine, this guy called Raila Odinga, he disturbed Moi until he was given something called a maja. You can give it whatever name you want. But the fact is that he benefited. He became the Secretary General of KANU and a minister.
Yes.
He also disturbed Kibaki in one way or the other until he forced something called a coalition government. He was given the prime minister position. And then again, I don't know how he messed up with Uhuru until he was given something called handshake. You can name it Maja, coalition, handshake, or whatever you call it. And then he became the chairman of infrastructure in the whole of Africa.
Yes.
Now again, he's also dealing with us. Yes. He's also dealing with us. And very soon he'll become the chairman of African Union Commission. This is somebody with who can survive any storm.
Yes.
So for me, I think if we were able to deal with him in 2022, together with William Ruto, together with
Uhuru
Kenyatta,
yes.
That force of Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta, and we were able to withstand it as the UDA and Kenya Kwanza and Takatanga Brigade. You can imagine when he's out of the picture and Uhuru, the constitution bar him from contesting, and then we are left with the likes of Kalonzo and Eugene Wamalwa. Unajua ni kama ule mtu ulikuwa umejitayarisha kulima shamba huko na majembe ya ketira. Alafu all of a sudden unapatiwa kakaamba ile ya haru tu. You don't even need the jembes.
Yes.
Itakuwa ni kukimbia tu vuruga kidogo alafu
no contest.
Inaenda vizuri. No contest in 2027.
Ndio nasema hii support yenye naona mnapatia Raila Odinga. Hii support yenu hii, it is tactical. Ni mapenzi ya kupenda, but the thing is
watu wa media, nyinyi ni watu wa kurokota tu mshene na kubadilisha majina na kutengeneza. Nimekuambia mlisema maja, mkasema coalition, mkasema handshake, mkasema whatever. Now give this one another name. Whichever you'll give it, sisi tunakubali. Kwa sababu nyinyi ndio mlipatiana ile mambo ya maja. NDP na KANU. Nyinyi ndio mlileta ile nyingine ya ODM na NAC.
Yes.
Na NDP na PNU.
Yes.
Mkasema hii ni maja.
Kulikuwa na code, kulikuwa na NASA, kulikuwa na vitu mingi.
So mpatie tu jina yenye mnataka.
Lakini sasa mheshimiwa, even as the government, the current government ya Kenya Kwanza supports Raila Odinga from a good place.
Yes.
Yeah. And by God's grace afaulu.
Yes.
What do we stand to gain as a country, because tumetuma mtu wetu pale? What
good.
Do we stand to gain?
That is a very good question.
Yes.
We have had 5 chairperson of AUC, African Union Commission. All of them, none of them was from this region called East African region.
Okay.
We have heard from the North Africa, we have heard from West Africa, we have heard from Central Africa, and even South Africa. Now it is a turn for East African community. So if we all combine and go as a united economic bloc, we will be respected by other economic blocs in Africa, like SADC, IGAD na hao wengine. Watatuheshimu. ECOWAS watatuheshimu ya kwamba sisi pia tumeungana, tumeambia wengine wenye walikuwa wanataka kutafuta hii kiti wawachane, tunaungana namna hivyo. Again, since uniting Africa into the United States of Africa is gaining momentum, I think it will gain a lot having the first president of the United States of Africa. Kwani yuko shida gani? Si hapa tumekuwa tunganganiana nyinyi Wakale mnataka kuwa na president, Wabaluya wanataka kuwa na president, Wakikuyu wanataka kuwa na president. Hata sisi wa Masai tumetaka kuwa, tulijaribu pale Tanzania kupitia Lowassa na Ole Sankok hatukufaulu, lakini pia unasikia tulipata uchungu mingi sana wakati yenye hatujafaulu. So this time around pia sisi tukipata kama East Africa, what are you gaining as Kalenjin that you are voting as a bloc so that you have the president? What were the Kikuyus gaining when they were voting Uhuru Kenyatta as a bloc, so that they can have the president? Of course, whatever you guys were trying to get is whatever we will also try to get when we have Raila Odinga as chairman
at the head of the table,
as the head of African Union Commission, and eventually the United States of Africa.
And because most, or I would say all, of the EALA MPs who are currently in Kenya, while you are hosting them at your place in Narok, the major theme, the overriding agenda was integration.
Yes.
Regional integration.
Yes.
Now, if we are to get Raila Odinga into the AU Commission,
yes,
would we manage to have some trickle-down effects to support this EAC integration, or would we be projecting the integration to the whole of the continent? Would we have our own space to grow before we spread out?
You know what is killing Africa is the statement you have just made, our own.
Yes.
What is your own? That is not African
the rest of
own.
Africans.
What is your own?
Yes.
You know, if we allow you to go with that language of our own, you just start saying our own in East Africa, you start saying our own in Kenya, you start saying our own in Kalenjin, you start even going to a county, saying our own in Nandi County, and then before that we realize you go to villages and say our own in this village, and you start even going to clan,
so
our own in this clan.
We really need to shed this.
Say some characters sat in Berlin in 1884 and subdivided Africa in the scramble of Africa.
Yes.
Partition Africa.
Yes.
Put Honorable David Ole Sankok in the Kenya side. Honorable Milia Kenyasi, who is also a Maasai, to the other side of Tanzania.
Yes.
Put Honorable Odongo, a member of parliament in EALA, in the other side of Uganda, and put Raila Odinga, who is also a Luo like the other one, on the other side of Kenya. We don't want those boundaries. So when I talk of our own, I talk of our own Africa. In terms of Africa. Okay. You know, when we were admitting Somali, some characters somewhere said Somali have a problem. They are fighting. The origin of Al-Shabaab is in Somalia.
Yes.
I don't see problems. I see opportunities. For me, I saw through those problems you guys were projecting. And I saw Somali coming with 3,500 kilometers of coastline. That is what I saw in Somalia. I saw Somali coming with herds of cattle and camels that will add value to the East African community. So people were seeing problems in DRC. There is a lot of fighting in Eastern DRC. In Goma, for me, I saw the opportunities. Yes. The largest water tower that is in DRC, Congo Belt. Yes. The river with the largest amount of water, volume of water, that is Congo River. You know, that is what I saw. The large landmass that is arable, that is what I saw. You know, because for us to be able to unite Africa, we have to discard this myopic view in our own neighbors, in our own brothers. If they have a problem, we need to solve those problems ourselves, because African problems require African solutions. And we cannot just go like this and say this one is our brother, yes, but they have problems, they are fighting. It is us to go and solve those fightings. That is why the East African community have sent army to try and return peace to the Eastern DRC. That is why we went as East African Legislative Assembly, the Committee on Regional Affairs, to monitor the election that was in DRC. Not to infringe into their space, not to micromanage them, but to tell them, look here, brother, we need peace, because when you are at war, the whole of Africa is at war.
Yes.
When you are not in peace, we are not also in peace, because we are our brother's keeper. And I see opportunities rather than those little things you say, my brother, you know, our own. Yeah. My own is Africa.
Okay.
Our own is Africa. And our continent is Africa. And we cannot continue being enslaved. We cannot continue having boundaries drawn by some characters who want to enslave us. Yes. And they actually enslaved us. You know, they divided us into very funny names. You remember East African Protectorate is due for the British? British, yes. There was another Belgium, you know. At the moment, it is even so funny that in East Africa Legislative Assembly, we are almost using sign language to discuss.
Because of the language barrier.
The language barrier.
Yes.
So, the Republic of South Sudan does not know Kiswahili. They only understand English. The Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda and Burundi.
French.
French.
Yes.
They don't know even Kiswahili. Me, I don't know French. So communication has been a problem. That is why we have the Kiswahili Commission based in Zanzibar. Because we want the whole of East Africa
to speak one language.
To speak in one language.
Yes.
Communication is very important. Because they knew to break this superpower called Africa, they have to break like the Tower of Babel. You know the Tower of Babel? What they did is that they were told biblically, God saw that these people are creating a skyscraper that will soon go to heaven. Yes. So they were confused into different languages. Yes. So that they cannot communicate. That is exactly what the whites did for us. They confuse us. This is Belgium. This is whatever. You know, the DRC used to speak very good Kiswahili.
Before they were told, somewhere around the border in Goma,
yes,
they speak.
Before they were told, if you can't speak fluent French, you are not educated. You are not learned. Here in Kenya, if somebody speaks in that vocabulary of PLO Lumumba, of English, you say this guy is learned. Learned what? Best. Talk to me so that you know I'm learned. Talk to me in Kimasa. I'll give you all the proverbs that are in Kimasa. But you will say that I'm illiterate.
Yes, because you don't speak English.
Because we were broken by those colonial masters like the Tower of Babel. And that is what we are saying, no to being broken down into small units that are not, they cannot be able to be self-sufficient. You know, Kenya here, Uganda here, whatever. We want to unite as the United States of Africa. Why did the whole of America unite? It's because they knew they can only become powerful through unity. You know, why did the European Union combine? We know there is Spain, there is UK, there is whatever names, Belgium and whatever, but they combine and have a single currency. Even us, we will unite and have the United States of Africa and have a single currency of the African Union, have a single army of the African Union, so that if Kenya have 1 million army officers plus police officers, they send 10% to the African army. Yes. Uganda send another 10%. We become stronger. We have the strongest army. If Kenya have these tangas, fighters tangas, you know, 100 of them. If we combine times 54, we'll have more than United States of Africa. Yes. If you have jet fighters in Kenya, even 10 of them, if you say times 54 countries, then we have 510. We are stronger than America. That is what we need. Unity is strength. We want to break these colonial boundaries. We will say never again will we be broken like the Tower of Babel. No.
Mheshimiwa, as we wind down,
yes,
as Kenya Kwanza and those who support Raila Odinga push for his election as the chair of the AU Commission. What does that mean for our local politics now, especially opposition politics? What will happen now once he is declared the winner and he moves to Addis? Who will lead the flock?
You know, you are very funny. It's as if you have not been in Kenya and you have not been in this world. Who will lead the flock?
Yes.
In reference to who will lead the opposition?
Yes.
You know, the father of Raila Odinga, the late Njaramogi Oginga Odinga, was the leader of official opposition party.
Yes.
Did we ask who led when he was gone?
No.
Did we lack somebody who will lead after he was gone?
But now when you try to look
if
at
we can
the
replace the president, how difficult is it to replace just an opposition leader?
It may not be so.
Kina Kalonzo are there, the others are there. You are here. You can also go to the opposition and lead them.
No, I'm not a politician.
You know, Jomo Kenyatta was here. We replace him as the president of Kenya. It's so easy to replace an opposition leader. It was difficult to replace a president. But you have been able to replace a president. I hear that from my mother because I was born in 1978, just a few months after Kenyatta passed away. Because they remember my date of birth. Not because they remember of all the other my siblings. You know, those days there was no date. Every day was Monday and Tuesday because nobody was going to work. Every day was a Monday or was a Saturday, or because you wake up, you go to look after your cows, you bring them in the evening. We only know that morning and evening. We didn't know days. So even them, they did not know the days, those days. But they knew about my birth because they said I was born just a few months after Kenyatta have died, kabla ya sikukuu kidogo. Just one day before sikukuu kidogo. Sikukuu kidogo ya zamani ilikuwa Jamhuri. 12 December. Because sikukuu kubwa ni ile ya 25th.
Yes.
Alafu mwaka mpya ni ile ya first. Sasa sikukuu kidogo
12.
Ilikuwa 12. So nilizaliwa, mama yangu hakusherehekea sikukuu kidogo kwa sababu alizaa usiku hiyo. So I know now that I was born 11 December because a few months before Kenyatta died, who died in 1978. So that is why I know my date of birth. But anyway, I was told when Kenyatta died, hata mifugo zilirudishwa nyumbani mchana. When they had, they thought the world will stop.
Okay.
Because a whole president have died. So
how is that possible?
Ile ng'ombe nini yenye zilikuwa malishoni kila
rudisha, you know what's going to happen next.
Wakae, watulie,
wafuatilie
what will happen. My friend, he was replaced. So Raila Odinga, you think you will not get a replacement? You may be shocked, it will be Babu Owino. Wachana hii kina Kalonzo yenye wanazunguka hapa. You know, in 2018, if you follow my Facebook page, I predicted that Babu Owino will be the first president of Kenya from the Luo Nyanza region.
That's what I wanted to ask you when you mentioned Babu Owino, because I saw somewhere you said he will be.
And that one is in 2018.
Long before
and
all
I said in parliament. And now, Raila is getting out of the way.
So there's going to be a
the next most popular person at the moment.
Yes.
From the Luo Nyanza region is Babu Owino. The guy, if you go and contest as the Kisumu governor, Homabay governor, or Siaya governor, you will get those votes like nobody's business. You have been getting votes against all odds in Nairobi. So you can imagine. So anyway, that is another case. So I was just telling you about replacement. But Kalonzo will not replace him. Eugene Amalo will not replace him. Which is the other character? Joho will not replace him.
Wajakoya.
Wajakoya have a chance, but a minimal one, because of his age and also his way of approaching things. You know, when you keep on saying bangi throughout, and you are a professor, you know, it also not anger well to most of the Kenyans. Maybe a few characters who behave like him. But the only person I know he can replace him is Babu. Yes. Mbadi had a certain chance to a certain level, but wakati alikatazwa kusimama kama governor of Homabay and then he became nominated like me, the clout ikaenda chini kidogo. In politics you can lose overnight. But when I said Babu Owino will become the first president of Kenya from Luo Nyanza, remember that day Mbadi was the minority
leader.
Yes, and Kinopio were there, Otieno Omolo were there, James Orengo were there. But why didn't
more experienced?
Yes,
older.
But I prophesied, and that prophecy will come to pass.
Mheshimiwa. Talking to you is interesting.
Yes, thank you.
And I really hope that our viewers have been paying very keen attention.
Yeah,
because especially on matters of the East Africa community.
Yes.
And the Pan-African agenda. Because you yourself, you call yourself the global geopolitician. What does that mean?
It is not me who call myself. It is members of parliament in the East African Legislative Assembly who saw me and saw my aspiration and nicknamed me the global geopolitician.
Really?
Because my thinking have always been on a global perspective,
yes.
On a on geopolitics.
Yes.
Yes. I want to see the whole world. Why is Africa behind? Why are we still poor yet we have plenty? How can you be hungry in the midst of plenty?
Yes.
Why are Africans dying of hunger in the midst of plenty? Why don't we grow our own food? Why don't we be able to use our own resources? Why is war ravaging us? Why are we killing each other in the midst of plenty? It's like saying, yes, a fish is thirsty.
How is that possible?
Ati samaki iko na kiu.
Haiwezekani.
You see, let me tell you, we have been colonized. Hii akili yetu hii ubongo bwana. Imekuwa colonized. Unakumbuka juzi Raila alikuwa kwa barabara akiongoza maandamano akisema ati bei ya unga lazima ishuke. Why don't you know that hiyo bei ya unga ni mshahara ya mtu mwingine? Na watu wako barabarani wakisema mshahara yao iongezwe. Why are we not seeing that? That mshahara ya mkulima ni mahindi, ni maziwa, ni nyama, ni hiyo chakula wewe unasema iteremke. Iteremke iende wapi? Mshahara yako ipande na mshahara ya mtu mwingine iteremke. Where in the world do we even complain that mshahara lazima iteremke? It's only in Kenya. Alafu ukiona majority ya wale wenye wanasema mshahara iteremke, yes, ni jamii yenye tunajua wanaenda mtoni wanatoa samaki ya bure. Hawajaweka mbolea, hawajapalilia, hawajapatia chumvi, hawajapatia dawa ya minyoo, wanatoa tu na karai kuchota tu ya bure, wanatuuzia samaki moja shilingi 1,000. So samaki 100 ndio inajaa gunia. So hao gunia ya samaki wanatuuzia 1,100. Na bei ya mahindi gunia moja ikienda 6,000, wanafaa sufuria kwa kichwa iteremke. We are being colonized.
Yes.
Yeah, our brains are being colonized. Na ndio tunasema hatuwezi kubali political, social, economy neo colonialism. And where do they colonize with? These NGOs you see around here. These civil societies that have turned into evil societies. Wanalipwa na wazungu. Ati watetee wa Afrika. Unatetea Mwafrika, si ulipwe na Mwafrika umtetee.
Waafrika wajitetee.
How can you be paid by mzungu
kujitetea?
Ati wewe ni human right activist. Ati utetee wa Afrika na unalipwa na mzungu. Kama unataka unitetee, si mimi ndio nitakulipa. Kwani mtu akifanya campaign na ako na ile campaign managers wake na wale campaigners analipwa na opponent?
Si ni yeye
anajipa. Ama ndiye analipwa?
Analipa.
Ama leo tuseme hivi, William Ruto asimame na ile campaign team yake ilipwe na Raila. Inawezekana?
Haiwezekani.
Our competitors are the whites. If they are paying the salaries of the civil societies, the civil society cannot bite the hand that feed them. So these civil societies, as far as our optics of the African optic, the African eye, they are evil societies, they are not civil.
He who pays the piper
picks
the tune.
Alafu ati unalipwa na mzungu ati utetee Mwafrika. Kutetea wapi? Unatunyanyasa kwa sababu ule mwenye anatucolonize, ule mwenye amefanya sisi tukue slaves, ule mwenye anabadilisha jina ya slaves into servant, into sijui nini, immigrant workers, nini, ni huyo mwenye anakulipa. Our competitor in this world are those who are paying you. You cannot be loyal to us. You'll be loyal to your paymaster. And you are not a civil society. You are an evil society. All civil societies in Kenya. In fact, I had a bill, but I don't know where it went when I was in the National Assembly of Kenya. If you are not paid by Kenyan taxes,
yes,
if you receive your money and your salaries and your operational costs from British,
yes,
go and register in Britain. Go enda utetea wazungu, enda uwatetea wale human rights huko. Lakini hapa Kenya, kama we ni human right activist, pokea pesa kutoka kwetu. Kama hatuna, kaa bila pesa, tetea sisi. Kama uwezi, rudi kwako nyumbani. Lakini there is no way Raila Odinga can have his own campaign team being funded by William Ruto and he feel he is safe. We are not safe from this civil society. They are evil societies.
So, Mheshimiwa, naambiwa wakati umedidimia kweli kweli.
Hakuna shida.
Na ningelipenda kuendelea kujadiliana na wewe kuhusu ya mambo, lakini wacha tubakishe ya next time.
Yes.
We shall definitely call you whenever you are available, whenever you are around.
Anytime.
And we'll make time and have a chat.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you sana. Wasalamia wakale. Mimi nilisomea pale Kericho High School.
Yes.
Niko na rafiki yangu anaitwa Patrick Malel of Lel Timber, mwenye wako hapo Kericho. Mimi ni mtu wa Kericho kabisa.
Sawa sawa. Asante sana. Chitab Kalenjin yota le yamache kitukyin tetutiet nebo kwenye emet en betutab rani. Kainenyu ko Victor Korir, miten studio ak Mheshimiwa Dr. David Ole Sankok, nenet ko MP nebo EALA. Kaya ngalal ongeten ole kai tugul kakosir nekit sait agenge ak kebeberiat ak notok ele kitukyin tetutiet nebo rani kakimiten en kebeberta nebo emet ak Naomi Cherotich nebo logoiwek en oret noto nebo kaborunoik kou notok ko notok ko nekakomuch komwa Mheshimiwa kole miten kibagengeisiek che nootin ko civil societies ako mwanet kole icheket ko ma civil kobaten evil. Notok keret netindoi ko inegen Mheshimiwa ko notok kikochini chitugul boroindo nebo koyai boisienyin en ole kertoi kou notok kityo isib ng'atutik chebo emetab Kenya. Chitab Kalenjin amache amakun kembout nekararan missing. Kainenyin ko Victor Korir. Ngetuen kora wikit nenyone en tetutiet age nebo Ikwenyi Emet. Bye bye.